If you talk to a man in a language he understands, that goes to his head. If you talk to him in his language, that goes to his heart. There is no passion to be found playing small, in settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living. It is better to lead from behind and to put others in front, especially when you celebrate victory when nice things occur. You take the front line when there is danger. Then people will appreciate your leadership. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. Where globalization means, as it so often does, that the rich and powerful now have new means to further enrich and empower themselves at the cost of the poorer and weaker, we have a responsibility to protest in the name of universal freedom. Never, never and never again shall it be that this beautiful land will again experience the oppression of one by another. As long as poverty, injustice, and gross inequality persist in our world, none of us can truly rest. For to be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. We pledge ourselves to liberate all our people from the continuing bondage of poverty, deprivation, suffering, gender, and other discrimination. If you want to make peace with your enemy, you have to work with your enemy. Then he becomes your partner. Our human compassion binds us the one to the other, not in pity or patronizingly, but as human beings who have learnt how to turn our common suffering into hope for the future. Without education, your children can never really meet the challenges they will face. So it's very important to give children education and explain that they should play a role for their country. A good leader can engage in a debate frankly and thoroughly, knowing that at the end he and the other side must be closer, and thus emerge stronger. You don't have that idea when you are arrogant, superficial, and uninformed. There is no easy walk to freedom anywhere, and many of us will have to pass through the valley of the shadow of death again and again before we reach the mountaintop of our desires. I stand here before you not as a prophet, but as a humble servant of you, the people. Running taught me valuable lessons. In cross-country competition, training counted more than intrinsic ability, and I could compensate for a lack of natural aptitude with diligence and discipline. I applied this in everything I did. If there are dreams about a beautiful South Africa, there are also roads that lead to their goal. Two of these roads could be named goodness and forgiveness. There are many people who feel that it is useless and futile to continue talking about peace and non-violence against a government whose only reply is savage attacks on an unarmed and defenseless people. I was not a messiah, but an ordinary man who had become a leader because of extraordinary circumstances. There is nothing like returning to a place that remains unchanged to find the ways in which you yourself have altered. It is wise to persuade people to do things and make them think it was their own idea. I have cherished the ideal of a democratic and free society in which all persons live together in harmony and with equal opportunities. It is an ideal which I hope to live for and to achieve. But if needs be, it is an ideal for which I am prepared to die. There is nothing I fear more than waking up without a program that will help me bring a little happiness to those with no resources, those who are poor, illiterate, and ridden with terminal disease. There are times when a leader must move out ahead of the flock, go off in a new direction, confident that he is leading his people the right way. I have retired, but if there's anything that would kill me, it is to wake up in the morning not knowing what to do. Does anybody really think that they didn't get what they had because they didn't have the talent or the strength or the endurance or the commitment? I dream of the realization of the unity of Africa, whereby its leaders combine in their efforts to solve the problems of this continent. I dream of our vast deserts, of our forests, of all our great wildernesses. In countries where innocent people are dying, the leaders are following their blood rather than their brains. There are so many men and women who hold no distinctive positions but whose contribution towards the development of society has been enormous.